Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Obscure Toy Files. I'm your host, Boggs, and today we are looking at Kenner's 1995 Gargoyles Icestorm Brooklyn with icicle blasting power. Now, Gargoyles. Wow, this takes me back. Gargoyles was such an epic show for us in the 90s because it was not like any other cartoon show that had come out. Maybe close to like Exo Squad in terms of like serious nature and stuff like that. Like there was an episode where Broadway and Elisa Maz have to deal with the fact that like I think Broadway accidentally shot someone with a gun. Like there were like real world implications in this fantasy type thing. And Disney made it. It was on the Disney Afternoon, if I remember correctly, and it was a great show. It had lots of different characters in it. The story was very interesting. You know, it was a group of gargoyles that got, because in this world, gargoyles are like these bipedal creatures with wings in their backs, and during daylight they turn to stone, and at nighttime they turn back into gargoyles and they're living creatures. But during the day, while they're stone, they literally are stone. Not like encased in stone, they literally become stone, so they can be smashed and are vulnerable. So they would position themselves on parapets and castles and protect the inhabitants in exchange for them watching over them while they were vulnerable during the day. So it made this really epic story, and then naturally, because it's a cool cartoon show and it's the 90s, you gotta have toys. So that's what we had here. This is from 1995. The line I think only went from like 95 to 96. They made a lot of figures, mostly variants on the main characters. I think if we actually went down and looked at all the unique characters they made, there was like the 5 gargoyles, which was their leader, Goliath. Then there was Brooklyn, Broadway, Hudson, and then the dog-like one, Bronx. And then those were the main 5 characters. Oh, no, sorry, 6, Lexington, I almost forgot him. So the 6 main gargoyles. Then there was Elisa Mazza, who got a figure. Then there was Xanatos, voiced by the awesome Jonathan Frakes, who was a really good bad guy. Then there was Macbeth and Demona. And so you basically got 6 characters plus... At least, I wasn't track. No one said I had to count during this review. Chris, my brain is failing me. It's late at night. So we had the 6 gargoyles, then Elisa Mazza, Demona, Xanatos, Macbeth. So that's 10 whole characters from the cartoon. I guess you'd count the Steel Clan robots as another character, so that's 11. And then there was Coldstone, who was one of the very last figures to make. I did own him. Was very excited to have him as a toy. He was a cool toy. He had like a little lever on his back that could spin between the different personalities that were imbued inside of him, because it was actually like the remnants of 3 different gargoyles with magic and technology that made Coldstone. Anyway, I digress. The problem with this line is that there were so many other cool characters. There was the Pack. They were a group of like cat-themed like guys with different abilities. Some of them were cyborgs and stuff, crazy things. They encountered other gargoyles from different continents. So there was like, I remember there was like a feathered serpent, like a Quetzalcoatl gargoyle from Brazil. He had like a snake tail, snake head, arms, full human torso kind of thing. He had wings, but they were feathered. There was a bunch of, there was gargoyles in England. I think there was Griff, which was like a griffin one, and then there was like a unicorn or a horse one, and then maybe a lion one. I can't remember all of them. And there were so many cool characters, and they didn't get to any of them. And the line didn't last very long, conceivably. I mean, I've been told this was actually from an episode. I must have completely memory holed that episode, because I do not remember an episode in which Brooklyn gets imbued with the power ice. It becomes an ice gargoyle. But I'm here for it. It's a really cool looking figure, and it's not just like a repaint of a regular Brooklyn figure. It's a new figure. It's got these big icicles, which look like they're spring-loaded missiles, because Kenner and spring-loaded missiles go together like peanut butter and chocolate. He's got clear wings. We're going to bust him out, of course, so you can see. Packaging, as usual, was really cool. It has, Goliath, whose wings take up the whole cover, or the whole front of the cardback. He's standing on top of a building looking out over the city of New York. So this is in ages 4 and up. Always important to know the age range on these bad boys, which I can't show you because it's too high up. Cardback, flip this around and check it out. See all the cross cells. Now, as we said before, 1985, Tonka Corporation is a subsidiary of Hasbro Incorporated, because Kenner and Hasbro were bonded at this time. Kenner hadn't gone away yet. Now, From this, I've definitely seen some things from this before. See if we can read the card on the top. The little free camera. Gargoyles, frozen in stone by day, flesh and blood winged warriors by night. Awaking after 1,000 years, a band of powerful gargoyles find themselves transported to a time and place not their own, New York City. Here, the misunderstood creatures battle modern-day barbarians and struggle to understand their strange new world. Gargoyles, the legend begins. And this is a lot of the cross-sells from this thing, this wave. Elisa Mazza was a cool figure to get. With Rocket Wing Jetpack, because you got to give her something cool. Stone Camo Broadway and Stone Camo Lexington. These are just repaints of the original Wave 1 versions of Broadway and Lexington, but are not bad because it's them as Stone. So you could always pretend it's them as Stone instead of just making them like a camo. Battle Goliath, I had him. He was cool. Like that missile shot out of his arm, and he had like some like battle armored wings and stuff. I think he was the only Goliath figure I had. Bronx was cool. I may even still have that that sword somewhere. I don't even know where it might be, but I might still have that. Flamestorm Goliath, I do not remember in the show. Neither do I remember Icestorm Brooklyn or Rainstorm Hudson with Water Blast attack. And it's so funny because he's still wearing his armor. He's not shirtless, which is just weird because he was the older gargoyle. And he's wearing his armor because those white things are not his nipples, although they kind of look like them. I believe it's like the clasps on his armor because he had like a torso breastplate. So this looks like it's a brand new figure too. I've never seen him in person, so I don't even know. Now remember, typically on these card backs, they are from a year prior. So if you scroll down here real quick, 1995 was when this card back was printed. So this figure might have seen release in 96. Because there's a wave after this that has a card back that's printed in 96. So that wave might have come out in 97. I don't remember because I've not collected this line in a number of years. But I was over at Lost Toys and Comics in Miller Place, which is an awesome little store. Totally go check it out. The guy, Rob, who owns it, is an awesome guy. And he's got a plethora of cool vintage figures, carded and stuff like that. Like this Batman, Stargate stuff. There's some Gargoyles figures, Terminator, Aliens, a lot of cool old kind of 90s toys. A very eclectic but awesome selection of products. So I can't recommend his store enough. That's where I got this Icestorm Brooklyn from. And I remember seeing it on his Instagram, and I remember being like, what? Actually, we can pause for a second as I zoom back out, I think. So right here, you can see that post I took a picture of on his Instagram, which was pretty cool. I saw it, and I showed it to him when I got the figure, and he laughed. He's like, oh, cool. So, yeah, that was neat. We'll go down the rest of the list, see who else is here. Steel Clan robot with exploding body power. That exploding body power is the same exploding body power that they had for the T-1000 figure from Terminator 2, that they had for exploding Beetlejuice, I think in 1989 or 90, and also for the Scorpion Alien from another Kenner. So Kenner just loved using that exploding gimmick. Because I had the Steel Clan robot. I did not troop build them because I didn't understand troop building when I was a kid for some reason, so I only had one. Strike Hammer Macbeth, I think my cousin Danny had, but I remember you could turn the crank on his gun and you could shoot this as a missile, or turn the crank and it was like a jackhammer, so he could destroy the gargoyles while they slept. That crazy SOB. Xanatos with Steel Clan armor and posable wings. Now this is the second version of it, in more cartoon-accurate colors, because his armor was red and black with some silver highlights. So the original version of this was more like a gunmetal, and then this is more accurate to the cartoon. I had the original version, not this one. And then we have Xanatos with his XI-44 Roadster. This is actually a vehicle from the movie The Shadow. Again, classic Kenner, reusing stuff all they can. But it comes with a regular version of Xanatos, which is cool, because I do not think there was a regular version of him except for this one. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's actually like a Batman figure or a Clark Kent body or something. Or maybe the Shadow. I have no idea. I've never gotten this vehicle. Maybe I'll have to track it down at some point. But it's cool because if you wanted a regular version of Xanatos, boom. And then you get a cool red version of the car from the Shadow. I forget the name of it. I used to own it. I think I've since gotten rid of it. Lightning assault vehicle, 2 vehicles in one for land or air pursuit. Figure not included. I don't remember this one. I did not have this vehicle. My cousin Danny had the motorcycle, and neither of us had the big purple flying vehicle. So I have no idea if this is like a laser bolt from He-Man kind of thing, where it springs up, or this thing can detach off and fly by itself. Because remember, the Gargoyles cannot actually fly; they can only glide on currents of air. To quote Goliath himself, so they would always have to climb up something, like the wall of a building, to get to a height high enough so they could glide. So before people start yelling, why do they need a flying vehicle if they can fly? They don't really fly; they glide. So this is definitely something they could use. However, after jettisoning it and flying and gliding somewhere else, as the lightning assault vehicle just careens out of control with no pilot and smashes into a building. And how they got it exactly, I don't know, but we're not going to argue with Kenner's ability to make cool toys. And then we have the deluxe battle doubles. What? Battle doubles? Now, these made me mad. I had the Lion Bronx because it was cool. And what you could do is, it's called battle doubles because you could take the armor, if you see those little pegs, you could take the armor off and peg it into this and make like a little sentient armor buddy that could fight alongside them. Now, what makes me mad about it is not that it's a flying dragon Bronx, because it's a cool little dude. I think I still have this club, actually, because he couldn't use it. It was just like an accessory somebody else sold. I never got Minotaur Goliath, which is funny because Minotaurs don't have wings. But, and this is a big but, Griffin Goliath. Why didn't you just make Griff? Griff was a character on the cartoon, Kenner. You could have just made him. Like, the amount, it's so funny to me because they're like, we don't want to spend money on tooling. And I'm like, you're spending all this money on tooling right now. All these are new characters. That's a new sculpt for Goliath. Those wings are fire. Look at his head. It's like, this is all new tooling money you're spending, Kenner. Just make new characters. And they're like, nope, we're going to kind of keep remaking the Gargoyles because that's worked with Batman. And it's like, I can't stand you, Kenner, damn it. Ultimate Goliath with a massive 15-inch wingspan. I do not remember this one. Unless you want to make Goliath be a giant, there's no reason to use him in the toy line. And then lastly, one of the cool things was the Castle playset, the Gargoyle Ultimate Battle Stronghold, very reminiscent of Castle Grayskull. And I remember seeing this in my Kenner Action toy guides. I think that thing turns for like a secret passage. I never owned it. I stopped collecting the line before I actually found one. They're out there. They can go for varying amounts of prices because we're now in 90s nostalgia land. So all these things that were like 10, 20 bucks 10, 15 years ago are now $800 bazillion and 33 cents. Welcome to 90s. I blame all the 90s kids that they now have disposable income. I'm sorry, but it's your fault. So for Icestorm Brooklyn, we take them out of the package. We attach wings and tail to figure. And then the projectile loads into the launcher on the right wing. Press button to fire, store second projectile as shown on the left wing. So we're going to stop zooming in on the back of the package. Also make sure to look out for the Gargoyles video game now available. Which system it's on, we're not going to tell you. You'll figure it out on your own. Thanks, Kenner, for helping out. And by thanks, I mean no thanks. You haven't done anything, Kenner. What have you done for me lately? Well, nothing, because you're out of business. So that sucks. Okay, so we're going to bust him open. I'm going to slice the card back with my handy-dandy razor blade. Schnick it, as they say. And we're going to do this old school, like how Chris, a.k.a. Boggs, would do this back in the 90s, where the classic way is just cut here and on the bottom and the other side, and you leave this part intact so you could always put it back and then hang it on your wall. I used to do that all the time. It was actually the easiest way to store my figures because you just like put it in there and you let it do its thing. Oh God, the plastic, why? One of these days I'm going to do this and I'm going to like slice my arm open on camera. And be like, well, that video is not usable. Nobody should be... If you're seeing this, it means I had no other choice on how to put this up. I try to do these decardings live on camera for the authenticity. Remember, for those of you who like seeing things mint in box, I remove them so you don't have to. Okay? And he was only $25. That's not very expensive. Retail for this, I think, was like $8.99, give or take. So let's see what's all about. Icestorm Brooklyn, you're free. Oh, a piece of plastic that holds things in place. I may have to remember where that went. I don't need that part. No, everything's coming out. What have I wrought? No. Oh, I didn't cut it all the way. Oh, well, that sucks. Jesus. Kenner, what are you doing? You don't care at all. We do this because we care. I think you're full of it, Ken. You lie to me. And you can see the cool artwork looking down at the depths of New York City as crime and craziness rages and Goliath is ready to save people or something. I don't know. But he's there, checking stuff out. And put this over there. Oh, don't want to forget this important, crucial piece, which Kenner could have sprung for some tape and just taped it in there like a good toy company. But no, they got to make things more difficult for us in the future. How dare they, not have hindsight that 29 years in the future, somebody's going to be doing a video of this on the internet, not on eBay. SOBs. Let's bring it down to action figure level. Well, at least my black background makes it very easy to see him. And okay, now as for, we'll check out the articulation real quick. Icestorm Brooklyn here has minimal articulation because he's got some raging hair locks like he did in the show. He was always a cool gargoyle to me. Actually, this is funny, I've never owned a figure of Brooklyn before. I only had, they didn't make very many of him. Like there was a regular version with a lance, and he had like biting action or something. But he was the only one I ever, I know my cousin had him, I didn't even have him. No, so I've never had, this is my first Brooklyn. Cool. This is my first time getting him. So let's attach his tail. I don't think this is a one-time assembly deal. I think it just kind of pegs in. Can we take it out? Yes, okay. So it's not one-time assembly. So you can plug it in. And what's interesting about this is the plastic is like speckled. So there's actually like the hands or the arms and legs are PVC plastic. The head is PVC plastic, but the body is ABS, and it's all speckled with little, bits of stuff to make it look like ice or frozen. But he's got a cool head sculpt. Like definitely looks like it's as if Brooklyn picked up some sort of enchanted ice amulet and was granted the powers of Icestorm, and it's become this new gargoyle. Now this is cool, sticky. I can feel the stickiness coming off of it. That is, now if you have a toy that's sticky, that's a plasticizer, which is a chemical that they put into PVC plastic to make it, have some pliability to it. So as time goes on, this plasticizer often leaches out of action figures and makes them sticky. Depends on where they're stored. Sometimes you can wash them and scrub them up, and they'll come out okay. Maybe we're going to pause that and take a quick scrub to this and see what happens. All right, so we're back. Scrubbed it up with a little dish soap and warm water. It still has some, you hear the stickiness, it still has some stickiness to it, not on where the paint is, just where the clear plastic is. This is the same, but I don't want to wash this one because there's a spring mechanism in here. I'd hate to mess that up. So we're just going to have to deal with the stickiness. Oh, okay, that's how this works. All right. I was trying to figure out I could see him in the package. I was curious as to how the wings attached exactly, but they put them on ball joints, which is pretty slick. Let's see. Okay, so you just peg it in like that. All right, it doesn't go in all the way. Sticks out a bit like that, but I guess so you can. That's pretty cool. It gives you some range of articulation. When you think about it, when you're getting these figures in hand, these figures are pretty. I'll do some comparisons with other figures. I think Trap Joe's might have been getting shot at a bunch of times. He's over here somewhere. But when you look at these figures and what they are, they're pretty big. I mean, I'm not a small person. I'm 6'2", so my hands are not tiny. But that's a lot of, that's a lot of figure. You get a lot of real estate on the shelf with these guys. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So you can shoot people. Makes sense. Cool. Tail doesn't rotate. It just kind of plugs in. But it will help him stand up a little bit if you have to lean him backwards. Let's see. Then we'll take one of these icicle missiles, which they're made out of, soft plastic, not sticky. I don't think. Maybe from the tape that was holding them in at the top. But other than that, they seem okay. And then this just clicks in there. And then this one just holds in there. And then there's a little notch. Is there a notch? Okay, this goes like that. Boom. Maybe just like that. Okay, there you go. Yeah, so there's Icestorm Brooklyn ready to freeze some bad guys, I guess. So we can get zoom back a little, not that much. Yeah, there we go, perfect, right there. So he's a pretty slick figure, man. Oh, we'll take another '90s character that did not, is not a part of this. We'll think Jab from Street Sharks. Awesome, yeah. It's like, what? This isn't a Street Sharks review. This is one of those new Street Sharks from Mattel. I highly recommend them, by the way. I haven't done a review on them yet because I couldn't wait to open them up, so I didn't do an unboxing. But if you go to Target and you see them, $24.99, perfect price because they originally ran for $8.99 to $9.99 back in the '90s, and with inflation, that comes out to about $23, $22. So they're comparable, and they have more articulation. So you're not getting taken, so to speak. Mattel's not trying to give you the shaft. And here's another very surprise strap drill. Put him back here. Boom. Yeah, so this Brooklyn pretty much, he scales well with them. He's not designed for, I don't know what size he's supposed to be. It was weird because Kenner would do like different sizes. Like, I think RoboCop and the Ultra Police, the Batman Dark Knight collection, and possibly Aliens are all like in the same scale. Definitely Batman and RoboCop. Those are in the same scale. Like that's 5 inches or so. I don't know. Terminator's bigger. Terminator's more like this size. And then Congo, that's Alien size / Jurassic Park. So they're kind of like, I'd have to actually get some Jurassic Park figures. I've been itching to do that too. So maybe you'll see something like that one day. But they're all in a similar scale. Like he's 5.5. He's about that. So it's about, the shoulders don't. You can cross-play with them. Gargoyles are also, I don't know how big they're supposed to be in the universe. So he might be perfectly good height for who he is. So Jab's going to get out of here. Yeah. Thank you, Jab, for hanging out and coming to say hello. And then we're going to use good old Trapjaw as target practice again. So to make this work, we'll fly over Icestorm Brooklyn. Time for things to get cold. Hey, freeze, ha ha ha. Yeah, very funny. So to fire this, what we found out, there's a little button right here. So we just we level our ice missile at a poor hapless Trapjaw. You zoom in on Trapjaw? Trapjaw, how you doing? Then you let that button go. Missed completely, but hey, we have a second one for this exact reason. Try it again. He caught it. That's right, guys. Uh-oh, well, I'm done for. That was my only missiles. I shot them all. Where did it go? Isn't that just the way you shoot a missile and fly? I shoot a spring-loaded missile into the air, and where it lands, I have no idea because they hit the floor and they bounce all over the place. Okay. Lock and load it again. Haha. There we go. Took him out. The added weight from the first missile knocked him over. I've won. Hooray. Yeah, so not a bad figure. I'm excited to finally have owned him. It was very cool. Very cool. I see what you did there. See, Brooklyn gets it. And what's neat is you can also put this in his hand. Oh, maybe I should do it the other way. That's pretty neat. I do like how they did that. I am the storm gargoyle, Ice Storm. Brooklyn's gone. Ice Storm only remains. You all doing this one too? Not as much. Wrong way. What's funny is that his arms are kind of like on backwards. He's going to get some carpal tunnel from this. Yeah, so not a bad figure. 4 POA. Oh, no. I stand corrected. 4 POA, 5/6 POA, because the wings are articulated. And they, on ball joints. Or, ball joints? Yeah, ball joints. Or ball and socket joints, not ball joints. But that's that's pretty cool. That's effing cool, man. I'm trying to keep my language a bit more minor. Trying not to drop too many F-bombs. But we're into the video by 20-something minutes, so we should be okay. I don't get monetization anyway. YouTube makes monetization off of some of my videos, but I don't get to see any of that money. I gotta get my toys the old-fashioned way, trading. So yeah, Icestorm Brooklyn, 1995, Kenner. 1996, maybe. I have to look it up online. So if I'm saying 1995 here and the title says 1996, that means the title is correct and I'm wrong. And Trapjaw's not getting up; he's taking a nap. Yeah, so definitely, if you are in the neighborhood, i.e., on Long Island, in the Miller Place area, definitely go check out Lost Toys and Comics. They have a lot of cool stuff. They have other Gargoyles figures there. I didn't see anything else that I was trying to get, because right now in my collecting, I'm trying to get things that I did not have as a kid that I wanted, and Icestorm Brooklyn was definitely on that list. So thanks, and shouts out to Rob over at Lost Toys and Comics for hooking me up with this. We did some trading, and I was able to get this, which is awesome, because I've always wanted this figure. I actually had a team of different Ice characters. I wanted to have him be part of it, but I never found them. I don't think I ever saw these on the shelf. Doesn't mean they weren't made or available. I just never saw them. I did have some of the hardwired ones. I had Lexington and Coldstone, but they made like Broadway, Goliath, Xanatos, and like some of his more slimmed down armor. Again, but never doing enough of the characters from the show. Kenner. All right, what are you going to do? Ain't bringing this line back. We'll be lucky if Disney makes it, they're making live action everything. Do Gargoyles, Disney. It's low-hanging fruit. These things are 30-something years old, and they smack Broadway. These are so cool figures. Oh, I'm sorry, Brooklyn. What the hell, Chris? Sorry. Boggs, come on, man. Watch out. So definitely go. If you want to get Gargoyles figures, some of them are a little pricey in mint box, but they're not bad at all. So I'm going to wrap up this video because we're hitting about the 27-minute mark, which is long for me lately. Make sure you like and subscribe below and chill out. Horrible jokes. Yeah, like and subscribe. Comment below, because I like reading your comments and interacting with you folks. And this again is the Kenner's 1995 or 6 Gargoyles Icestorm Brooklyn figure. Stay cool, as I said before, and Brooklyn out.